Hello, good morning, Raphael. How are you?
Good morning, Young. How are you as well?
I really appreciate you joining me, our Next Wave interview series as a founder of Capital. And I'm really the one of pioneer and woman that are really driving the technology innovation in the intersection of biology and tech that can really make the difference in our lives. Love to have our discussion today. I think it'll be good to reset a bit and talk about you and about your career and being a technologist, medical doctor, and the accomplished venture capitalist. It'll be really great if you can talk a little bit about your career background and also what made you successful as we are. And I also want to congratulate you getting the recognition from French government, the Legion of Honor, which is a very rare and very special acknowledgement of your contribution.
Thank you so much, and I'm not realizing yet about the Légion d'honneur. Sometimes I'm wondering if they have done a mistake, but apparently not. So I hope I will honor this Légion d'honneur to serve not only France but obviously Europe and beyond in terms of what I've been passionate for, which is patient and healthcare. Not only patient, human being. And it had been my main driver for my whole career. So starting as a medical doctor, and I spent 5 years taking care of patients, mostly with leukemia. It has been very much a trigger for me to understand that I would like to help the patient and to do it by different ways and accelerating also access to drugs and treatment for patients. So after these 5 years in practicing in mainly clinical hemato-oncology, I spent also 4 years with the French NIH in CERN, that is to do research, actually, molecular biology and immunology, and it was to understand behind the patient, what is the science behind, and I liked it very much. I've been lucky to publish in great reviews, including Nature reviews, and to try to make progress for that, but it was not going enough fast for me. Fast in terms of how to get results for the patients. I was intrigued by innovation at that time. So 18 years ago, more than 45% of the drugs sold by the big pharma or the treatment, innovative treatment, are coming from the small startup, from the BioTech, biopharma, small startup. And I was intrigued and I looked further, I met different people, and then it's how I directly from this academic world, medicine and science, I went to venture world and joining Sohn Partners, that is one of the oldest VC firm in Europe and US. But I joined the Paris one, and I joined as an analyst, again directly knowing nothing about this business. And I grew up into the firm as a partner and then managing partner, and learned the investment, obviously, but also really how through the investment and backing and helping entrepreneurs how to make drugs finally to the patient.
But I think that it'd be really great if you can also talk a little bit about how do you see what are the key trends that you see in the medical field today or biomedical space that are really exciting, that can really have an impact on patient care, and really the convergence of technology between IT and medicine. When they come together, it can do some special things, I hope. So I'd like to get your perspective of the dimension of biology and dimension of technology. When they come together, can it make a bigger impact, and how do you see that going forward?
We need to think and to work as an ecosystem. It's why when I said, multi-talented team, it's really working why ecosystem, because bringing indeed all this technology, even though we don't invest as Jato in a technology, health tech per se, nevertheless, we push our entrepreneurs and even us, we are working with companies that could again serve better, and you said it's very long to get to a drug, to a treatment. It's very long, and it's also complex, or let's say sophisticated. So not only you need people with know-how, but we need to bring this technology. And I think it has the positive things of COVID crisis is that it is accelerating to use these tools and this technology to do it better, optimizing and accelerating. Clearly, to give you an example, what we've seen with the COVID crisis is that all the clinical trials that were not for COVID had been stopped at some point. Now they are catching up, particularly in oncology, but otherwise, you have still severe disease that needs new treatment. And they realize, the agencies, the companies, that all the delay, because finally it should have happened before, but all this digitalization to make, for example, a clinical trial with, remotely, to make it faster. So that's one example. So, how when the patient has to come back to the hospital to make several tests, how to optimize that, such as you save time and you have better result because of this digitalization. So that's one. Second is it's some example how to use all this data. What is great with healthcare and development of drugs particularly is that everything is published. So all the tools and the technology to take this data and help to go faster and to also be right. For example, a drug that is for a more targeted population of patients. So different example just to say that there is a lot to do, and I would like to ask you the question. How you could help here? I'm sure you, especially you young, but also your fabulous company and institution, how you could help and for what is coming for COVID, but also further. How do you see this marriage? But also, what kind of technology we could get to help finally to get the right treatment for this very severe disease?
So our perspective, an IT person perspective, I see a lot of things that we do in biology can impact IT, and a lot of things we do in IT can impact biology. So, for instance, when you're thinking about AI, often people think it's a totally different things, but actually our human brain is in a way modeled and helping us to process tons of data with a very small power. So clearly there's a lot of architecture in our brain, which is very much of a parallelized mini processor that are driving the data, that are helping us to run applications. And this neuromorphic processing is clearly helping AI. And then of course, a lot of things that we do in IT can also help biology. And for instance, I'm hoping the Samsung's new mobile phone can give you better insight about our body by monitoring your activities, the things around what you do, your preference, that can all together give you better insight about our mental health, as well as our health information that can give you some preventive warning in the process that we believe that we can be able to change the dynamics of healthcare from reactive to proactive. And that's an example of how I think technology can contribute. But obviously, these things are all kind of in the process. I think we talked somewhat around the technology and IT and bio and how it related. Maybe the subject I also want to talk about is also your passion around really role model. Clearly, the number of the professionals in women, in particularly venture capital, isn't really that big of representation. Maybe today around 15% of the venture partners are female. But I want to get your perspective, what you're doing in terms of, I know you are doing a lot of leadership and also playing a role of development of this, the female entrepreneurs as well as venture capital society. So could you give me a perspective around how you're involved and what you're doing about this?
Yeah, I know that's a topic, one of my passion. Women as a diversity, but also because I realized more than 10 years ago that women are key for healthcare. Again, here talking about acceleration. It doesn't mean that men cannot, but women, when you think about it, and there are more and more data, they are an accelerator of healthcare. Actually, it's by history, since the time of the time, the women, they are the one taking care of the two extreme part of life. The elderly people and the children. I remember a study of analysis of J&J in 2017, looking at role of women in families, and it's 80% of the decision in healthcare are taken by women in families, so 80%, 80. So, and then there are more and more data. If you look at even clinical trial or scientific paper, when you have women, it's the data are different. So this is about diversity, but also a specific role of women, I think, since history. And I realized that 10 years ago, but also I realized that we were not enough women. Obviously, you talked about numbers, 15% in VC group, but when you look at entrepreneur, women entrepreneur, they are like financed by VC, they are 2%, I think, or maybe now it's 5%. So it has increased a little bit. So I realized that we were not enough also together, helping each other. So it's a question of role model, but also even inspiring each other. And helping each other, because with this collaborative mindset. So I founded an association more than 10 years ago named WITH, for women innovating together in healthcare. And it's really to be together to make progress for healthcare. Obviously, it is to promote women, but to serve finally healthcare, that is our common passion, and without obviously excluding men and our network. So it has started like that. So this group is quite what I call accomplished women and generous. So accomplished meaning quite senior and experienced women, and sharing. And already among experienced women, there is a need to share and to help each other. Already that, but what so through this group we are helping women to also evolve in their career. Obviously, even they are already senior, they could change, because the beauty of this of healthcare is that you have so many different role you could get across the value chain. And I would like to help young women to save time, because again, obsessed by acceleration, but finding to serve the society and not only ourselves. And so after WIZ, we are now creating, and this is with JETO, with the fund, we are creating a foundation that is here to help the younger women in university, to help them, to push them to become entrepreneur, or at least to value their project and their research in every benefit for healthcare. So it's not only drugs here or biotech, it's all about health tech. And would love to interact with you and think about how we could promote these women, young women in universities, to make their own project and help finally benefiting the patient.
So it's really interesting to hear the two different angles. So clearly, health industry does have a very large women population and participating, but across the different segments and disciplines, you want to have a dialogue and collaboration so they can be able to encourage each other. And then the other side is really going after the seed of a potential power of women through the entrepreneurship, even university programs like you're doing. I would love to hear more about it. I think we could play a role in helping maybe entrepreneurships in earlier age, particularly supporting diversity programs that are part of something that are very meaningful, and increasing the number of entrepreneurship from 1 or 2% to much higher rate than what it should be. So that's really a great initiative, and something that I believe we need to continue to work on. Let me ask you two questions. If you were being able to give a message to mostly the bosses of today, which is male, right? If you think about most corporations like Samsung and others, a lot of times it's 80% plus is a male bosses or managers. What message would you give to them to encourage women to play a better role in the organizations? And that's one question. The second question, so one is about the male boss. Second question is really about the new prospective female employee that are approaching the job. What message would you give to them as a way for them to be successful in a still organization that are still very male-oriented communities and organizations they're joining?
So I'm trying to think at the same time what I've done right and what I've done wrong in the past, because indeed it's a very male dominated, but even it is evolving. Clearly, I think that first not try to be a man for sure. We are different. We bring it's like diversity. It's needed, diversity in competencies, diversity in not only male, women, but races, culture. I mean, it's how we are more obviously successful. But it's diversity with inclusiveness, and that's very important. And I would recommend, as you ask, to a woman that she identify around her and with male boss and this male environment, who are the male that are much more open to this inclusiveness. So that's one. And the second is to not to be, I would say, slowed down by some reaction or some in a way to be proactive here as well, to follow your way, your path, and not to lose negative energy to change the world here. Although I think we should try to change behaviors, but the way I think for women to change these kind of behaviors is to demonstrate our success. And through successes, we could help other women, but also, then let's say to men that they are not the only one to participate to this success. So it's by demonstration and go as fast as possible to do that, not listening to this negative energy.
Very good advice. Hopefully we can continue to work with the startups to encourage the entrepreneurship, as well as leadership, as well as diversity to solve some big problems of today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and well done for all what you do for the others. Thank you.
Great.